18 compact brushless drill driver kit, now only $149. And save big on Milwaukee tools during Milwaukee Deal Days, February 20th through the 26th at Fleet Farm.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Coming up on 1 o'clock here, it is 41 degrees in Milwaukee right now. Scattered rain today, a few wet snowflakes in some spots as well. Slippery spots we had early this morning. High of 42. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Isolated rain, low of 34. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty.
46, we have 2 PMB, one confirmed gunshot wound to the head. 46, we're going to have to continue to clear the residence.
72 is
a man and a woman found shot to death in Franklin last night. Their bodies found in a home near Drake Lane and Mission Hills. Police say there's no apparent threat to the public. They're working right now to pinpoint what led to that shooting. 2 people are hurt after an argument led to a Madison City bus crashing into a restaurant.
Witnesses on board say a female passenger had become upset when she learned the bus was not going to her desired location. That's when they say she began pushing and shoving the driver before the bus crashed into Asian House on Dempsey Road. One passenger was taken to the hospital while a second was treated on scene with minor injuries. Before officers could arrive, the suspect left the scene and no arrests have been made as of this morning. The bus has since been removed from the restaurant. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Federal workers are living in fear and anguish amid the firing of thousands from various agencies. CBS's Allison Keyes talked with one woman navigating all the chaos.
A federal worker with decades on the job puts it bluntly.
I'm very scared and I'm anxious.
The California-based veteran says she feels like the Trump administration is calling her waste.
I do. And it doesn't help when you see members of Congress saying we don't deserve paychecks because of what we don't do anything.
Now the employee with a strong commitment to service worries that she'll lose her retirement. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
President Trump says federal agencies should prepare for a reduction in force that could impact career officials with civil service protection. More than 2,000 National Park Rangers, emergency personnel, and maintenance staff have lost their jobs as part of the DOJ effort to shrink the federal government. Former park ranger for the Apostle Islands, Neil Hoke, tells WTMJ what the National Park Service staff actually does.
People who work for the national parks do a lot of different things. There are maintenance employees, law enforcement employees, there are scientists.
Hoke says removing these positions will impact park operations, including longer entrance lines, whether visitor centers can stay open, and having enough emergency crews to help people on the trails. Raising money for cancer research by running around the world. Dr. Clark Gamblin is a Froedtert surgeon and testicular cancer survivor. He competed in the 2025 World Marathon Challenge, running 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Dr. Gamblin tells WTMJ his most surreal race was running in Antarctica.
So a team of 65 representing 22 countries assembled in Cape Town, South Africa. Got on an old Russian cargo jet, flew it into the inter portion of Antarctica where only 250 people go in a year or so. It's because there's nothing there outside of a track. And so we ran loops on that track.
Dr. Gamblin raised $130,000 for testicular cancer research as part of this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Time for news about your money now. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. When I took a peek at the markets, I thought, ouch, everything is down right now. The Dow is down 242 points to 43,379. S&P 500 is down nearly 11 points to 5,944. And the NASDAQ is down just about 5 points to 19,021. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 103.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons on their bourbon list, over 100 fine wines, 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half your dinners are free. I love this place. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Cactus League play continues for the Brewers today in a game you can hear right here on WTMJ starting at 2. Big goals for Brewers first baseman Rhys Hoskins as he enters his second season with the crew.
After 26 home runs in his first season in a Brewer uniform, Rhys Hoskins knows he actually left something on the table.
The thing that we're always chasing in this game is consistency, and that's really what I'm after this year, being a consistent force within this lineup.
His manager, Pat Murphy, agrees.
I think he's excited about it. You know, he wants to do even more. He was a great teammate. He was a great leader, but he beats himself up over his season.
I already told Murph my goal this year is 150. Those home run numbers, the RBI numbers, the other numbers that we really look at, I think those will show up if the 150 game mark is there.
From American Family Fields of Phoenix, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
The Milwaukee Bucks return home to face the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night. They lost to the Rockies last night, 100-97. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. The last couple hours, it's been really good out on the roads. Right now, the only new thing we have is a disabled vehicle on the exit to Hawley Road from 94 East. Just a disabled vehicle, but that's a busy spot, so traffic is definitely slowing down around there. And then as we travel to the south, 4194 north at the ramp from Wisconsin 158. Right shoulder still blocked there due to a car that's broken down. That one happened, about an hour ago, but it's still there. That one's not really slowing things down. Light traffic there. And here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, scattered rain, a few wet snowflakes. We have a high of 42 today. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Isolated rain will dip down to 34 for the low. Tomorrow, isolated rain as well. Maybe a snow shower too. Mostly cloudy and breezy. High of 43. Friday, our high temp, 53 degrees. Mostly cloudy, windy and mild. After Friday, we're going to dip down again, but it's not going to be bad. Saturday, partly cloudy. High of 31. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high of 34. We did just go down in Milwaukee, but right now in Mequon, it's 39, 43 in Kenosha, and we're down to 39 in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 108.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. Well, Brewers baseball is back, which means less of us.
Listen, if it means we're one step closer to the season starting, I'll give the Brewers an hour.
We'll cut our show an hour short for some Brewers baseball. But yes, starting at 2 o'clock. We're going to end our show a little early today because the Brewers' first bat is at 2:10.
Yeah, it's with spring training, we don't do not a lot of preamble, not a lot of post game wrap up. We just get right to the game, and it should be fun. There's nothing like listening to baseball on the radio.
No, I know.
It conjures up a beautiful thing.
When we were talking to Dom yesterday, I was thinking how you said is it 25 or 27 spring?
27 games after yesterday,
and like how that's 10 games more than the actual NFL season.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many baseball games in a baseball season.
And then you get 162 after that. So you can't say, oh, I wish there was more baseball.
No, I don't think. Maybe. There's probably people out there who are like, why do they have to take a break? Why can't baseball? There's warm spots. Why can't we just do baseball
Sure, I
all year
guess
round?
if you want to, it's nice. AmFam Field has a dome. All right, you technically you could play all year, but go to Cleveland, see if they want to play in the middle of January.
Exactly. All right. Well, coming up today, because we have a short show after the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Brian Reisinger. So the last time he was on our show, we were talking about his book, Land Rich, Cash Poor, and he grew up on a farm in Sauk County. Did not become a farmer, but very close to his heart and also his brain as far as the plight of the American farmer. And so he wrote an opinion piece in Journal Sentinel recently, kind of giving bigger context to the fact of the current Trump choices and how it's impacting farmers, but how this is a deeper issue that is with the swings of each administration, how farmers have fallen through the cracks. So we're going to talk to him at 1:35.
That's going to be good because his piece was very, very educational. If you don't, and it's not a long read, so if you have a chance before Brian gets here, go to jsonline.com while you're listening to us and read the piece because you're going to learn a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, and then it'll help when you're listening to the conversation.
Yes, but first, so this was really interesting to me. So I think in general, a fact is a fact. There are not many conservative professors in academia, politically conservative professors. Like that is, I think, when a quick Google search of why is there so few conservative professors, you get a lot of different reasons as to why, but the fact is the fact that they are in the minority when you think of the educational and academic landscape.
As you found this fact, and you said there's a lot of reasons, is it because there aren't a lot of conservatives trying to go into academia, or they're not getting hired by places, or is it a combination?
There was one article I found that the argument was the three big reasons are conservatives are hard to find at university faculties because of intellectual consistency, anti-science trends, and social pressure. And so one of the big things that's kind of like where it doesn't play out is discrimination in hiring. But especially when you start thinking about science, I mean, conservative Republican Party has been more anti-science over the last decade or so. And so more in political science, you get some conservatives, like economists, typically a lot of libertarians, but especially with humanities, when we're talking about English and history and stuff like that, you start seeing less and less.
Right.
And I would argue that it is good to have conservative professors, right, for a diversity of thought. Like I am on board with the recruitment of and special hiring of people who present a diversity of thought.
I would agree up to a point, only because and I'll stick with just the science. If you hire somebody who's going to teach misinformation, all that. But as far as political science and interpreting all that stuff, yes, of course there should be, because theoretically, back when you went to college and back when I went to college, it was to learn about different ideas and different people and meet people who weren't just like you and hear ideas that you may not have heard before. And we've gotten away from that.
Yeah. And so the reason I bring any of this up is because I had forgotten this was even a deal.
Right. Yeah.
But back in 2023, there was an agreement between the Universities of Wisconsin's president, Jay Rothman, and Assembly Speaker Robin Voss that basically said that the University of Wisconsin-Madison would raise money for an endowment to pay for a conservative professorship. I forgot that was a deal. Now it's back in the news because there's accusations that they haven't actually been doing that yet. But it's a bigger conversation of, is that not DEI?
Well, sure. And the whole reason the deal was in place was because there was a threat from Robin Voss to withhold funding, kind of like what we're seeing now with Ukraine and a lot of other things. Hey, unless you do things our way, you're not getting the money.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about that after this on Spanning the State.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes. Ryan Lathrop, school bus driver, coming his way, a semi-truck in the other lane, and it's creeping over the center line.
Tried to get around him, see if I couldn't avoid him, and he ended up going right down the side of my bus. I don't feel that I'm a hero. I did just doing my job.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, WTMJ's Brian Noonan here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Now, listen, I'm not bragging, but I started this weight loss journey 6 weeks ago. I've already lost 34 pounds, 5 inches off my waist, and an unnatural reliance on antacids. After all my years struggling with my weight, I finally found the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. This program is doctor developed. It's really easy to follow. It helps you lose weight fast, naturally. You don't have to take any shots. You don't have to take any drugs. You eat your own food. You don't have to buy prepackaged meals or any of that stuff. And you don't need to exercise if you don't want to. The program resets your metabolism. How? I don't know. I'm not a doctor of metabolisms. I don't know, but you can keep the weight off for good. They give you a coach for ongoing support. The program costs half as much as the other ones. Yes, that's right, and it works twice as fast. Perfect. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Look at me. I'm well on my way to my goal, and if it works for me, it will work for you. Schedule your free consultation right now by calling 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That is MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Kristin Brey, and this caught my eye this morning. And not the reason that it's in the news didn't catch my eye, but the bigger question about it caught my eye. Because basically, back in December of 2023, there was an agreement between Jay Rothman, who's the president of the University of Wisconsin, Speaker Robin Voss, basically that released state funding for the UW system in exchange for the system making some changes to diversity, equity, inclusion programs that included raising money for an endowment that would pay for a conservative professorship.
Right.
And what is that? It's basically, I guess it's, once they raise the money, it's going to depend on the donor for if it ends up being conservative economic theory or conservative political thought of like what that ends up being, and also obviously who they end up hiring.
Right.
And it's also backwards, I guess, as far as how endowments usually work. Usually you have the endowment and then you hire someone versus needing to hire someone and then raising the money for the endowment. It's back in the news because the accusation has been that the UW system hasn't done a good faith effort to start raising money for the endowment. They push back, say, it hasn't been 2 years yet. So that part I'm less interested in.
And the weird thing, the 2 years was not written as part of this agreement. There was no timetable on this.
So that part I'm less interested in because I agree that I think it is good to have more conservative professors if you can seek them out.
Right.
Because I believe in a diversity of ideas and thoughts. But to me, and maybe it's because we don't have a hard and fast definition of DEI, this falls under DEI.
I
of
agree,
like specifically based on your political leanings or some kind of identifier about you as why we're hiring you.
Right, because it would be, I don't know if there's any way to follow up on this, but has the University of Wisconsin-Madison had a track record of not hiring conservative professors? Have a lot of well-qualified conservative professors applied and they went, no, we just want to bring in left-leaning professors? Because that's what DEI is there to fight against. If the more qualified candidate is not someone you thought, so if the more qualified candidate is a conservative professor, well, that's what DEI is meant to do. And remember the uproar when Joe Biden said he was going to pick a black woman for his vice president? Mm-hmm. And everyone, oh, what? There's so many qualified people. It's the same with this. Yes, there should be professors who are conservative. Have they not applied? Have they not hired them? What's the
But I also
issue?
think there's something as far as getting out of the meritocracy, because even I think the term meritocracy, when you get into like qualitative criteria, is subjective.
Sure.
Ultimately, like unless you're just going off of just test scores or how many papers, especially when you go to talk about how many papers have you done? How many, it's like, is that what we're doing? Are we judging it off of how good of a lecturer they are, their relationships, their score on ratemyprofessor.com? You know what I mean? And so, and because I think ultimately where the argument is this is the crux of it, right? The crux of it is we want more, we being the Republicans, we want more conservative leadership professors in the UW system. Why? Because we want that to be represented.
Okay.
And we believe that the diversity of thought is a good thing. And that is the crux of the argument of why getting more black people, getting more people from all these different, whether we're talking about in institutions or on boards or on like the C-suite, of the representation of a more varied background and experience is in itself valuable.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm saying, is there a history of this? Not, and also, it is Madison. Are they having trouble getting someone to endow this for this particular reason? If it's, we need to endow a new professorship for the economics department. Okay. We're going to find the best economics professor. Somebody with that kind of money who would be willing to endow that chair maybe is more willing without that political label on that particular chair or that particular department. So, like a lot of things, the idea is sound. Get more conservative voices on college campuses. Okay, good. How are we going to do that? It would be interesting for me to hear from some conservative professor who has the same qualifications but didn't get hired at Madison and what his feedback was. But we're not hearing that. We haven't, and if this had been an ongoing issue at Madison, that they were not hiring professors based on their political leanings, this would have come out. In the last 2 years or prior to this, we would have heard something about it. So it's not an issue.
Which part's not an issue?
Well, the issue is not that Madison isn't hiring these people. It's they're not there.
Yeah, I mean the issue being
how do you get them there though? If you can't get the money.
I think that's what's yet to be seen. Is like, have they been trying to get right? And they didn't really comment on that.
No, they didn't.
They just basically rebuffed that, like, to accuse them of dawdling is an unfair statement,
right,
versus having a transparency as far as what they've been, the effort to do it so far. And so I forgot what I was going to say. I totally lost my train of thought.
How do you, I guess you ask if someone is conservative when they start to interview? How do you see, do you look at the papers they published and infer that, well, I see these papers are all have a certain, so this person must be, because can you ask a person flat out in an interview process?
What I understand as far as reading about this, it's like this is specifically, as far as the courses that would be taught, is conservative theory. Like it would be labeled as such.
Well, then,
and so I feel like there's two different things as far as we're hiring someone who happens to be conservative and we are seeking someone out who is conservative to fill this spot. Like those are two different indicators.
Sure. So but we don't know how they're going to do that.
We do not know
or
how they're
if
going
they've
to do that.
even tried.
Yeah.
But
So-
we know that the Republicans are in an uproar.
Yeah. So
All right.
I just thought that was interesting, but give me your thoughts. Why do you think that there's not enough conservatives in academia? So 855-616-1620, Study Unlimited, WTMJ Talk and Text line. We'll be back after this.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to
Fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone!
spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
Swing and fly ball, right center field. It is up. It is gone!
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the Dodgers Wednesday at 2. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368. This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. Happy New Year. How's business? Do you really know? We recently worked with several clients who thought they knew, but didn't because their books were not in order. Imagine thinking you were making $1 million, but because your books are a mess, you were really only making $200,000. Quite a difference. Imagine finding out expenses were not properly recorded or sales were double recorded. If these happen to you, we can help. We work with our clients to clean up their books and give them the information they need to know where their business is now and where it is going in the future. Don't wait. Start on the path to less stress, more cash in your pocket, and no more sleepless nights. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net today to book a meeting. We can talk over Zoom, the phone, in our office, or your place of business. Yes, we like to visit our business clients. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Grab your to-do list and head to Fleet Farm for Project Days, happening now through the 26th. Carhartt fans get a free $20 gift card with every $100 worth of Carhartt gear. Good on your next Fleet Farm purchase. Sprout Sweet Mix for horses and livestock is just $8.99 a bag. And save $50 on a Milwaukee M18 Compact Brushless Drill Driver Kit, now only $149. And save big on Milwaukee tools during Milwaukee Deal Days, February 20th through the 26th at Fleet Farm.
It's spanning the state. Kristin, have you ever made a bet that you were pretty sure you were never going to have to pay off, and then all of a sudden, uh-oh?
I'm pretty good at not betting unless I know I'm going to win.
Okay.
Like I'm not I'm risk seeking in a lot of ways, but not when it comes to doing embarrassing things or owing people money. So I can't think of any. The most recent one that was not me, but my husband, when we were away, we went to a cabin a couple weekends ago. He and one of our friends lost at bumper pool.
Okay.
And so they had to do naked snow angels.
Oh my God.
And they made good on that bet.
All right.
They did do it. They followed through.
See, that's the beginning of like every low budget skin movie. All right, boys, we got to go out and make some naked snow angels, and then the weird music starts in. Well, you saw this. J.J. Watt is in this, not to make naked snow angels. We don't want to, JJ's not going to do that.
Someone would like to see probably
Sure.
J.J. Watt do a naked snow angel, but so the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel wrote about this, and this is from J.R. Radcliffe, who, my buddy, it's just he always has fun stories like this, that it's just like, oh, of course J.J. Watt made this bet. So I guess he's a minority owner in an English soccer club called Burnley FC. And their goalkeeper is having an incredible season, and Watt told his name is James Trafford that if he doesn't allow another goal this season, Watt would return to the NFL and play for the Cincinnati Bengals, who I guess is Trafford's favorite NFL team.
Yes, and just so people know, he hasn't allowed a goal in 13 matches. There's 13 more to go.
And so I guess he was on the JJ was on the Dan Patrick show this week, and he basically doubled down and said that he's like, but that's the thing, is like, if you're retired, is the Bengals just immediately like, yeah, you can come play?
No, what would happen is he'd come to camp and maybe he pulls a muscle or something and he can't play. Goes to camp, tries out, and then.
Because I'm not counting Brady. Because Brady was retired for like 30 days and then he came back.
That's
but
just
Gronk,
a break.
I guess, was like fully retired and then came back to play for the Buccaneers.
Well, looking at JJ in the screen grab from the Dan Patrick show, it doesn't look like he's been sitting around eating pizzas.
That is
since
true. He doesn't necessarily look out of shape.
Yeah, he looks like he could probably start playing again right away.
But also, is there other examples? Besides, Gronk is the only one I can think of, especially of the big guys, who's like, I'm done. I take a season off, and then they're like, never mind, I want to come back.
Jordan.
But that's a different
was
sport.
To play baseball.
Yeah. I'm talking about football specifically.
I can't think of anybody.
Gronk.
But again, I think he'd be all right. But it would be something like he'd go back, maybe play in a preseason game just to fulfill, okay, I went back to the NFL. Doesn't say how long he has to stay. The bet's just that he'd go back.
That's true. That's fair.
We'll see how that works out.
All right. Well, when we come back, we will talk to Brian Reisinger about the plight of the American farmer. But first, ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. President Trump says while all other federal departments can expect a lot of layoffs and buyouts, he said Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security would not be cut. President Trump also announcing he'll sign a mineral mining deal with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House on Friday, not confirmed by Zelensky. And,
well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that because it's we're talking about Europe is their next door neighbor.
The president says he still plans to issue tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada April 2nd and slap them on Europe as well. Generally, companies pass the cost of tariffs on to consumers with higher prices. The Menendez brothers in prison for the 1989 killings of their parents could be closer to freedom. California Governor Newsom has ordered the state parole board to do a risk assessment on Lyle and Eric. There's another slight improvement in Pope Francis's pneumonia case, says the Vatican. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Jessica Ty. The city of Milwaukee has filed a motion seeking relief from a judge's order requiring school resource officers to return to Milwaukee Public Schools tomorrow. In the statement from City Attorney Evan Goyke, the city says it wants to delay the deployment of officers until the required training can be performed. The National Association of School Resource Officers tells WTMJ, as of today, no Milwaukee police officers have enrolled in their training courses. A court hearing is still scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. A suspect is on the loose after a chase involving a stolen car in Shorewood ended on the banks of the Milwaukee River. Police say the driver sped off during an attempted traffic stop yesterday, crashed through a backyard in Milwaukee's River West neighborhood, and landed in the river. A passenger was arrested at the scene. Police have not released a description of the driver. And today marks the sixth day in a row the Hop streetcar has encountered some form of service delay. The L line is once again dealing with weather-related issues to track switches, which the city estimates will cost $200,000 to replace. The switches have been hampering streetcar service for more than half of the month. Meanwhile, the M line is running a reduced schedule after a car crashed into one of the streetcars on Sunday. Time for news about your money. Here's a WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, and we're looking a little bit better than we were a half hour ago. The NASDAQ is up 2 points. Oh, nope, just changed, up 5 points now to 19,031. Dow is down, though. The Dow was down 175 points to 43,446. S&P 500 is down 4 points to 5,950. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We are still dealing with a disabled vehicle, and it's actually a disabled bus on I-94 East at Hawley Road. That's a busy spot, that Hawley Road area. You do have a decent amount of traffic there right now, and then you got this big bus that's broken down on the side of the road, so traffic is slowing a little bit, but it's not too bad. Just a heads up in case you're headed that way. Here's a WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, scattered rain, a few wet snowflakes you might see too. High of 42. Tonight, mostly cloudy, isolated rain, low of 34. Tomorrow, isolated rain, maybe a snow shower too. Mostly cloudy, breezy otherwise, high of 43. Friday, the high temp is 53. Mostly cloudy, windy and mild. After Friday, we're going to dip down a little bit, but it's not going to be bad. Saturday, we have a high of 31, partly cloudy. Sunday, mostly sunny at a high of 34. It is currently 39 degrees in Mequon, 43 in Kenosha, and 39 right here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Trained Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works. Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
It is a shortened version of Spanning the State. We're out of here at 2 to make way for Brewers baseball, but we have a lot to get to before that.
Indeed, indeed. So I think if you've been paying attention to the news, you've been seeing more and more reports of farmers across Wisconsin and the country sharing their concerns and frustrations and fears over the Trump administration's shakeup of federal programs. So just to kind of recap, President Donald Trump has froze federal payments of grants and other programs, ended funding for foreign aid, and ordered staff cuts at agencies like the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the administration's threat of tariffs against top trading partners like Canada and Mexico promises a crackdown on immigration. So there's a lot of things for the agricultural industry to be worried about. But our friend Brian Reisinger, the last time he was on, we were talking about his book, Land Rich, Cash Poor. And he wrote an article recently in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel talking about the deeper, more historical context of how America and each administration has created a whiplash for farmers. So I wanted to have him come on and respond kind of to what's happening currently, but also build that greater context for us. So welcome back to the show, Brian.
Hey, good to be with you. I appreciate it. One of these days, we're going to have to come and just talk about something light.
I know, but that's not the time we live in, Brian.
If you could find a light topic, Brian, we'd be happy to talk about it.
You and I can share parenting hacks. How's that?
Wait, we could. And if I wanted to do that, I ought to write columns about feeding baby calves and stuff, too. So it's on me. So I'm happy to be here.
There you go. All right. So first, is that a fair summary of what's happened so far in the first 30 plus days of this administration? Is there anything else you'd elaborate on?
Well, there's so much going on. What I would say is that everything you said there has something in common, which is that even before you get into the deeper issues that farmers have faced for a long time. All the things that you listed off are examples of just the fact that farmers live in a complicated world, and they are often subject to political crosswinds blowing in different directions that there isn't always a clean answer for them. And, I try to give nonpartisan analysis on this stuff because the reality is there are a lot of farmers who support President Trump, and it is possible for them to, at the same time, in the same moment, be applauding cost-cutting measures and, limits on spending, and also be impacted by changes to programs, given how wound together our government and our agriculture is. So there's a lot of two things are true at once for farmers when they're in these situations of programs being changed.
Let's give people who aren't in agriculture a little history, because throughout your article you talked about programs going all the way back to the Nixon administration. So what started a lot of this, to use Kristin's term, whiplash, and how has it led to what we're seeing now?
Yep. Well, the whiplash really, the roots of it go back to the Great Depression when, that crisis forced America to act and get government very involved in agriculture, and the two have been wound together since. The whiplash really began when we started with kind of geopolitics and farmers being kind of pawns on that chessboard. And so you're right to mention Nixon. Nixon and Carter actually are good examples. So, we had situations where President Nixon opened up the Soviet Union as a big grain market that farmers could sell into, and part of that was because he wanted to have leverage over the communists. He wanted to say, hey, we're selling you all this food, so you better do what we say. And then, not long after that, President Carter saw Russia invade Afghanistan against America's wishes and said, hey, we're gonna take this grain away from you. Well, the farmer's just looking for a place to sell their grain.
Right.
And they might agree and understand with opening up markets. They might agree and understand with drawing a hard line when Russia does something we don't like. But boy, when their ability to sell the crops and products that they produce are at stake, they're kind of caught in the middle. It doesn't really matter what they think of the politics of it because they suddenly don't have a market.
And so your greater argument here is to not look at the current administration in a vacuum and look at a bigger scope as far as the reactionary status of farmers depending on who's in office?
Yeah, I think so. Look, it's important as these programs change. You've seen, the USDA, they brought in ways to keep shipping food that's bought from farmers and given out as global aid. They found a way to do that, right? So it's important, of course, to raise issues that are being affected when programs are being changed, for sure. But if we miss the fact that farmers have been caught between both political parties for decades, and our government is incredibly complicated, layer upon layer of program upon program that affects our farmers. If we miss that deeper thing, we're going to do this again over and over, and it doesn't matter who the president is and what end of the political spectrum they come from and who you do or don't support. We're going to do this over and over because we've got hidden problems beneath the surface of the way our government approaches our farmers and policymakers who don't necessarily know that if we aren't having these discussions.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to keep talking to Brian Reisinger after we come back as far as some of the solutions and the policy solutions that he put forward that could actually fix this problem. Brian Reisinger is the author of Land Rich, Cash Poor, and the CEO at Platform Communications. Stay with us on Spanning the State.
Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services. Now is the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Kowal Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
Take your family to the Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford or Oshkosh today for the Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry and just $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in for your $7.99 fish fry. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft Restaurant.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradenton Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradenton Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Yours brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Ready to upgrade your home's exterior? Family owned and operated since 1983, J&J Contractors specializes in top quality windows, doors, and siding that enhance your home while increasing its value and energy efficiency. From modern vinyl siding to stylish fiberglass doors, and from double hung windows to sliding glass doors, they have the perfect solutions for your home. Contact them today for a free consultation. Just search online J&J Contractors or call 414-423-9200. J&J Contractors. Welcome home.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Expanding the state, I'm Brian Noonan.
And I'm Kristin Brey, and we're talking to Brian Reisinger, author of Land Rich, Cash Poor, and the CEO of Platform Communications, about a recent article he published in Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, op-ed, talking about the historical context of where we're at with American farmers. And so one of the bigger conversations was how reactive they need to be to whoever is in office, in the president's office. And so what were some of the solutions or policy solutions that you felt like could actually get to the heart of the issues we're dealing with, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what we need to do is we need to have a family farm moonshot. And what I mean by that is you can pick whatever scary metaphor you want, slipping through the cracks, landmines beneath the earth. You know, there are all these problems out there where family farms get hit anytime we make changes to federal programs. So what we need to do is this moonshot needs to be a monumental effort focusing all of our policymakers on both sides of the aisle on what's happening with each of these programs. Let's examine each program affecting the farmer. We know there's a lot of them, which are working, which aren't. And then we need to take that and move that into a farm bill process where we actually pass a long-term farm bill. Right now they're passing one that like patches it for a month, patches it for a year. They're supposed to pass one to cover 5 years. You know, let's roll up our sleeves and do the deeper reform to make sure we know how our programs are working, which ones are functioning, which aren't, and kind of clean house.
Well, that's the basis of your argument, because a lot of people go, well, aren't there already farm bills and programs to help farmers? But they've never really been looked at and reformed. It's just been, oh, let's throw this on top, and we keep layering new stuff onto programs that aren't really working, so we never get to a solution.
Yeah, that's right. In the book, I talked to economists who called it a fragile Jenga tower. You know, we don't know what the hell's going to happen when we pull one block. And so what we need to do is do that examination, because here's the thing. Two things are true. Taxpayers are saying, where is my money going? And farmers are saying, where is the assistance? And that's because we don't necessarily know how all these programs are functioning. Some of them are contradictory. Some of them don't work maybe the way they were supposed to over time. You know, and all programs become prone to abuse and favoritism if they aren't reformed.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, this might be a bigger question than we can actually go into in the next 3 minutes. But as our markets are set up today, can the average American farmer make a living without government programs?
For the most part, no.
Okay.
And the reason I have that small little qualifier on it is there's a growing ability to make money by growing fruits, vegetables, fresh food, beef sold direct to consumer. There's a little bit more ability. It's not widespread enough to be able to revolutionize.
You mean like farmers markets?
Yeah, like some of that
Okay.
is direct to consumer. Like people care more than ever where their food comes from, and there's more farms finding ways to be able to be profitable on a small scale. But we got a lot of farms that are stuck in old markets growing traditional crops who need to be able to transition toward that. And we need more market possibilities. We need more of that demand from people who care about where their food comes from, and a reform of our government programs to be able to capitalize on this. But for the most part, farms are trapped in old markets that don't have the kind of growth they need.
Now, with these, how much are these proposed tariffs weighing on people's minds, other than the quote unquote normal problems of a small farmer? What would these new tariffs add to the mix?
Yeah, typically farmers have viewed the tariffs as a matter of short-term pain, long-term gain, which is to say they do feel that they're subject to unfair trade standards. A lot of farmers, like the one I grew up on, farms like the one I grew up on, people look at this and they say, hey, corn prices, soybean prices, we think those prices aren't what they ought to be because we think, for example, the Chinese are messing with us, meaning the Chinese have been buying it for a long, long time, really kind of get us held hostage, and then they can change their buying and depress the prices. That's in addition to all the other cheating that China does. So there's a real desire to get tough. However, when you put tariffs on, other countries retaliate, and that, of course, makes it harder to sell goods abroad, so it can push sales down. So the reality is that farmers are caught in between again. They want to get tougher, but we have to be careful to protect our farmers from foreign retaliation at the same time. Now, the way to do that is to have a targeted trade strategy where we get tough, we draw a hard line where we need to, while we're also opening up more markets. And the way to open up more markets is to negotiate a single product with a single country. Instead of these huge trade deals where we negotiate with multiple countries on dozens of products where there's all these trade-offs, negotiate one product with one country at a time. Do that really aggressively. Sell America super boldly all across the globe so that when you do have to get tough with one specific trading partner, it doesn't have as big of an impact.
So final question, Brian. If you had the ear of Elon Musk or Donald Trump as they're pulling Jenga pieces out, let's say, what would your advice be in the pursuit of making farmers' lives better?
Yeah, I would tell them that we need to have farmers involved in the process, and we need to have folks on both sides of the aisle involved in some kind of a process here, whether it's a commission or whatever the case may be. We need to have policymakers having conversations on an ongoing basis while this is going on. And so I think that the cuts and the changes can be made. They've just got to be made with a deep understanding of how the changes will affect things. And I think that's an issue that goes back to the beginning of the problem we've talked about. We have had policymakers for a very long time who, if we don't make sure they understand what's going on the ground of the farm, they're not going to be able to make the right choices. And that's before we even get into how what happens on farms affects our food. And even fewer people in this country understand that. And so we just got to work really hard on connecting the realities of the farm with the policies and with the impact to every American dinner table.
Absolutely. All right. Brian Reisinger, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
He is the author of Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope, and the Untold History of the Disappearing American Farmer. You can find his most recent piece at Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And we will be back to already say goodbye after this.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show,
wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368. This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Celebrate a birthday, anniversary, or retirement this week with a free dinner at the historic Fox & Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill. Buy one dinner, get one free, 7 nights a week. Google Fox & Hounds restaurant and enjoy your free dinner.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
It's unclear if the process for offering people those type of buyouts is being properly followed.
Entertainment.
When you win a little statuette, it's a big point of pride.
And more.
I was under the impression that everybody loves Buc-ee's. Not so much.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
Wow. I don't know how Steve and Jeff do it. Our shows go fast.
Ours very fast. And well, aren't you usually on too? Yes, but we have to go because the Brewers are playing the Dodgers. I'm looking at all it says here is the Dodgers. It's a split squad game today. So the game you're going to hear here starting at 2 is Brewers versus Dodgers. The Brewers are also playing the Diamondbacks at the same time, but we're not going to focus on that game. We're going to focus on the Dodgers game and the fact that the Brewers won last night against the Guardians 9-6.
Nice. That's a good start.
So that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Only 26 more spring training games after this before we get the home opener. Yeah, we got about a minute left. So, we'll be back tomorrow. We got a lot of things planned. We're going to talk more agriculture when the fabulous Farm Babe joins us at 1:35.
Coming back tomorrow. More farm stuff.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on in the ag world, and we're trying to figure out what it all means to a state that is heavily agricultural.
And the fact, I would actually be interested to see Pam's reaction to Brian's piece. Maybe I'll send it to her and see what she thinks.
Get her all fired up.
And so that'll be good. And then later in the week, we got Steve Scafidi is finally back.
Is he?
He is back.
All right, good.
He'll be with us on Friday, which will be very good.
Friday, we are at the auto show. If you're going to the auto show, stop by and say hi. We'll have in person. We'll play the game in person and just have a wonderful time looking at new cars and feeling envious.
I cannot wait because I'm such a car person, as I've expressed multiple times. All right, Brewers baseball is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield, updating your garage